up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lost in Dead Space, and today we're going to be going over the top 10 Bethesda made video games so far. Now, just a disclaimer, this is my opinion, but also my opinion is fact. So if you want to hate, you can hate in the comments. But just so you know, I did give everything a very fair rating. I looked over everything very meticulously, and I think that what I have here is very reasonable. So with all of that out of the way, hitting at that number 10 spot, we have Rage, the original release, released on October 4th, 2011. It has a Metacritic score of 81%, over 600,000 copies in the first week, and a total of 2.31 million as of today. This game is very unique. It had lots of character. It was a mixture between Mad Max, Borderlands, a little bit of Fallout. Everything from the driving to the combat to the environment, the cities, everything felt very Mad Maxy. And if you were a huge fan of that series, this was a dream come true. It played phenomenally. The graphics were top of the line. The story was okay. Nothing original, but very solid. The only downfall to this game was its actual date of release. You could just tell that the technology of the time was not up to snuff for what Bethesda had envisioned for this game, requiring 3 discs that you had to interchange throughout the story. Very linear portions of the map with tons of loading screens in between. What they had envisioned was so massive, and what they could pull off with the technology at the time, it just couldn't happen that way. Besides all of those downfalls, the game is very good, and it is very deserving of this number 10 spot. Next on the list at number 9, we have Dishonored 1 with a Metacritic score of 91%, a user rating of 8.5, selling 460,000 units in its first week and a total of 2.5 million. This game was not my cup of tea, but I cannot pretend like this game was not a huge success. It was a Metacritic must play, breaking lots of records. The main thing keeping this game away from top echelon was its exclusivity to only being a stealth game. Lots of people love stealth games. That's why Metal Gear Solid is so successful. But that also alienates a lot of people, myself included, who like to just go in and mess some stuff up. Not saying this is a bad thing. Everyone has their own taste. Just not my cup of tea. I have no problem putting this game here at number 9. And it was a shame how poorly Dishonored 2 performed, because a lot of people really love this series, and now it's at the point where people don't think a Dishonored 3 is coming, and that sucks. But moving on from that, at the number 8 spot, we have Wolfenstein: The New Order, a great example of an old IP being rejuvenated and succeeding, selling an undisclosed amount of copies in the first week, and also an undisclosed amount of copies worldwide. It had mixed reviews, old people not liking it, new people loving it, kind of controversial, but its Metacritic score at 81%. All my friends loved the game. Anyone I've talked to about it did not hate it. And who doesn't love killing Nazis? The gameplay is amazing. The story is fun, intriguing. You feel like an absolute badass throughout the entire thing. And you really just want the Nazis to lose. You want to bring justice to the world. It's a great game. And I'm not the only one that thinks so. And that is why Wolfenstein: The New Order, you over there at number 8. We got here at number 7, Doom 2016. Now, where Wolfenstein was a great example of an old IP being rejuvenated, Doom 2016 is the perfect example of an old IP becoming something that is just as great as it was when it first came out. Revolutionizing first-person shooters ever since its release, just like the original. A soundtrack that is so badass, just thinking about it gives me goosebumps and makes me want to play it again. Sound design so perfect, it's tremendous. The story doesn't really matter here, but they gave us something solid. What we're really here to do is kick some demon ass and feel badass while we do it, and this game delivers that with an iron fist. And Doom 2016, you are much deserving of this number 7 spot. At number 6, we have The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind with a Metacritic score of 89%, a user rating of 9.0, selling 4 million copies as of the year 2005, which is massive for that time period. This was the catalyst of what we think of a Bethesda RPG today. It was Skyrim before Skyrim. It was Oblivion before Oblivion. And it's also the oldest game on this list, and it couldn't be more deserving of this spot. Lots of technical limitations, but what they accomplished was very great. This was the foundation that Oblivion and Skyrim were built off of, and it even had the fundamentals that the newly acquired at the time Fallout series would have. When Bethesda makes Elder Scrolls games, they hit it out of the park every time, and this is no exception. And that is why Morrowind is at number 6. And breaking that top 5 spot, we have The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion with a Metacritic score of 94%, a user rating of 8.1, selling 9.5 million copies worldwide. Oblivion is not to be slouched upon. The game at the time was revolutionary. This game set the standard for Bethesda RPGs and also kickstarted the high demand for open world RPGs in general. People couldn't get enough of this game, and at this point, Bethesda could not do wrong, releasing straight bangers for a decade straight. Everyone was anxious to see what the highly anticipated newly acquired Fallout series would be. And speaking of which, the number 4 spot is Fallout 3 with a Metacritic score of 93%, a user score of 8.5, selling 12.5 million copies just within the 4 years of 2008 to 2012. This game turned Bethesda into a behemoth company, a 1950s futuristic nuclear post-apocalyptic scene, the most unique and recognizable game settings to date. Fallout 3 is not only my second favorite game of all time, but also one of the most highly regarded video games of all time. This game kickstarted my love for video games in general and will always have a special place in my heart. As great as this game is, there's 3 that top it, and so that is why Fallout 3 is at number 4. And at the number 3 spot, we have my favorite game of all time, Fallout New Vegas. Releasing just 2 years later, selling over 12 million copies worldwide, a Metacritic score of 84%, a user rating at a staggering 9.2. It took everything that Fallout 3 was and multiplied it by 2. Everything from writing, world building, side quests, variety in guns, choices, you name it. It is highly acclaimed and often referred to as the best Fallout game. If you played Fallout 3 and you never gave New Vegas the time of day, I implore you to give it that second chance. Maybe play it on the computer and give it some mods to make it look better graphically, because it has been a while since it's been out. Over 11 years now. It's amazing what they accomplished with just 2 years, and I could only imagine how great it would have been if they would have had the time that they needed to make it what they wanted it to be. But besides that, the game is still very high up on the list at that number 3 spot, so I can't really be too butthurt about it. Now at the number 2 spot, we have the behemoth of the game, Fallout 4. This game shot the Fallout series into the stratosphere. It went from a game series that a lot of people have heard about into a game that everyone and their mom has heard about, and I cannot deny the success that the game has had. With a Metacritic score of 88%, a user score of only 6.5, 13.51 million units sold in just the 5 years it's been out, it was a huge financial success for Bethesda. It has its downsides. The writing is kind of whatever. This game created the meme of the illusion of choice. They make you think that what you're doing matters and that you're doing it in different ways, but what the end result is always the same. But it's not bad. I know what they were doing. They were trying to reach out to a larger market, but I do hope that in the future Fallout games, they go back to a more in-depth writing system and make the game less handholdy. That's all. I have nothing wrong with this game. I love it. It's in my top 10. It's just not my favorite, but I cannot deny its massive success and its huge impact on the gaming community as a whole, and that is why it is at the number 2 slot. And at that number 1 slot, you guys already know what it is. You knew what it was when you clicked on this video. It is The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, selling a staggering 50 million copies, a Metacritic score of 96%, a user rating of 8.6. This game is perfection in an imperfected way. I don't know anyone under the age of 40 that hasn't played this game. It's in the stratosphere of where Minecraft is, where everyone knows what it is. Everyone has tried it, and very few have disliked it. I don't have to say anything about this game. You already know what it is. This game is fantastic. It is my number 3 favorite game of all time. And it's time again to give the king its crown and put it at that number 1 slot. That is all I have for you guys today. Be sure to leave a comment if you agree with this list or not. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, share with your friends. I'll be making more videos just like this, so be sure to come back at a later time. Like always, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next video.